Disney parks have seemingly always had a misplaced fascination with circuses and trying to turn them into distinctly Disney experiences. Starting right back in the opening year of 1955 at Disneyland with the short-lived Mickey Mouse Club Circus, only lasting around 10 months before Walt and his team quickly realized that guests didn't come to Disneyland to see a circus. Unfortunately, Michael Eisner wasn't handed this message when he came on board the Disney company as CEO in 1984, and when looking for ways to increase park attendance at Disneyland in the off-season, he came up with the limited-time event Circus Fantasy, which completely ignored the thematically detailed lands and placed circus acts over the entirety of Disneyland. Acts included a high wire going across Main Street, USA, a motorcyclist that would drive up a wire attached to the Matterhorn, a human cannonball over the rivers of America to Tom Sawyer's Island, the Ball of Death right in the middle of the hub where the partner statue is today, and to top it all off, the Circus Fantasy Parade was shown twice a day along the parade route. For Eisner, Circus Fantasy was a revelation. The special event was not only well received by guests, but it drove a significant increase in attendance and revenue, both things Eisner wanted to bring to Walt Disney World. And his way of doing so will go down in history as one of Disney's strangest ever entertainment decisions. For ReviewTyme, I'm Luke Carroll, and this is the history of the Epcot Center Daredevil Circus Spectacular. The year is 1987. Disney World has just finished celebrating its 15th anniversary, and Epcot Center was in desperate need of increased revenue, and Eisner saw a circus as the perfect thing to drive up attendance. The original idea was for an international circus to be spread around the promenade of World Showcase. At first, it seemed like a great idea. European circuses had been highly respected for decades around the world and would bring an extra exotic feel to the already international flavor of World Showcase. However, budget factors involving bringing in overseas talent made Disney look towards other, less pricey possibilities. The ultimate final decision was to build a stage over the Communicore Fountain just behind Spaceship Earth to host the Intergalactic Circus. The approximately 100-foot long, 18-foot high oval stage was built directly over the fountain, allowing water to cascade down the sides of the stage. The area between the two Communicore buildings would become known as the Space Arena, and would be home to all manner of classic circus acts and feats. But how do you manage to fit a traditional style circus with elephants, tightrope walkers and trapeze artists into the still well-themed area of Future World? Remember, this was classic Epcot Center, before the likes of Finding Nemo and Guardians of the Galaxy made Future World their home. Well, you try to make the ordinary sound extraordinary by giving it space-sounding nicknames, as you can see in the following press release around the show. The 4 times daily 8-ring spectacle transforms Communicore into a space arena for an interstellar cast of spine-tingling acts plus a troupe of elephant-like Martian mastodons. With Mickey Mouse as a guest ringmaster, the 25-minute Cosmic Thrill Show features high riders balancing their space cycles on thin wires, zooming up to the 100-foot high midpoint of Spaceship Earth, an astrobat atop a swinging space needle, and an equally brave interplanetary mechanic who repairs a wildly orbiting space station by fearlessly climbing about it as it hurtles through the atmosphere. That's right, the main way of tying this show thematically into the area was by calling acrobats astrobats, calling a motorcycle a space cycle, and calling elephants elephant-like Martian mastodons. When finally opening up on October 1st, 1987, the show utilized a lot more than just the Communicore Fountain stage. Whilst the main stage was built atop it, there was plenty more to see on the roofs around as well as directly overhead. The show included the Wheel of Death on the roof of Communicore West and sway poles on the roof of Communicore East, as well as a trapeze and tightrope from Spaceship Earth hanging directly above the guests. Joining the action was live music supplied by the talented 14-piece Future Core brass band, who had appeared as a group in the park since the opening of Epcot. One of the main draws for the show in marketing was the elephants, which called for them to appear as a distant evolutionary cousin of our Earth elephants. In order to make them appear more Martian-like, Disney had costumes designed and made for the elephants. Unfortunately, Disney was unaware that, in general, animals do not like physical additions on their bodies. But in order to make them look more futuristic, Disney had designed additional hair and paraphernalia to be put on the elephants, who, unsurprisingly, did not care for these irritating new things, especially in the hot Floridian sun, and they ultimately never made it into the final show. Almost immediately after the show's debut, cuts were made. Mickey Mouse was no longer the ringmaster, and any other Disney characters such as Goofy and Pluto were quickly removed. Ultimately, the show just wasn't planned very well. It seemingly never occurred to anyone in planning that Communicore wasn't a great location for a traditionally styled ring circus. Wasn't a pleasant experience for guests to be constantly craning their necks to look overhead at various locations, and any performers standing center stage struggled to be seen as well, making no real viewing area great for the performance. The show limped on for 5 months of its intended 12-month stay until it unceremoniously was cancelled, having its last show on the 19th of March 1988, apart from the tightrope walker who, either due to popularity or contracts, continued performing for a few weeks after the show's official closure. However, the show did leave, shall we say, a lasting legacy on the park. The Communicore fountain, now known as the Fountain of Nations, was not exactly designed to hold the weight of multiple elephants, and the show resulted in significant damage to the fountain that can still be seen in some areas to this day. Ultimately, the show was a failure, echoing what Walt had said over 30 years earlier. People don't come to a theme park to catch a glimpse of a circus, a lesson that should have especially been prevalent in Orlando, when only a couple of years before this show debuted, Circus World, just down the road, had closed due to a lack of visitorship. For Review Time, I'm Luke Carroll. Thanks for watching.